Another beautiful rainy day in London town. Look at the sky. Look at how blue it is. It's Caribbean grey. Well, if the sky isn't blue, at least my coat is. This is going to be a bit of a pep talk, a bit of a, I don't know, an encouragement for those of you who are a little bit fed up, who are maybe a little bit frustrated, tired of waiting. I'll tell you a little bit of a story, shall I? All right, so like 50% of people have dropped off already now, but it's okay. So something like 15 years ago, I visited Ben Nevis, which is a mountain in Scotland. I went with some mates of mine and my family members. So it's friends and family, nice little visit. We stayed in a cottage near it. So we went from that cottage up the mountain early in the morning, right? And I remember how hard it was. Like personally, I'm not a mountain climber, right? Some of the people in the crew were seasoned hikers, right? So obviously we weren't, mountaineering, we weren't mountain climbing. It's more of a hike than anything else, right? A difficult hike. Upper elevated route, basically. So anyway, took hours from where we started from because we decided to go the more adventurous route than other tourists would go through. But we eventually, after a little bit of blood, sweat and tears, like literally, I ended up stomping my foot on an abandoned rusting piece of metal. So there was blood there. My mate's girlfriend sort of fell off the side and hit her knee. So there was both blood and tears in that respect. So that was funny. There was also a sweat because we were all sweating. It was also freezing cold because I remember I was wearing Carrimore boots, which aren't the best for the situation. They're just the only things that I had that were remotely outdoorsy at the time, so I was wearing that. So my shoes got stuck in this quicksand-like thing. It was the funniest thing, you should have seen it. So for like 15 minutes till we got my shoe back, I was just wearing damp socks in like -3-degree weather. It was just the most ridiculous thing. And then for the rest of the journey up Ben Nevis, I had this frozen foot, a little bit of frostbite on my toes. It was terrible. Anyway, the overall experience was amazing. We got to this bit where we thought, hey, we made it to the top of Ben Nevis, And then we looked around, and then there was a little bit that just went up again, and we hadn't reached the top. There was another mountain. And that mountain seemed higher than the one that we just climbed. So basically there's a sort of like a resting, a stopover for tourists, to take pictures. It's a great view anyway, right? Where we got to, it was satisfactory for me for sure, after all the stuff that we'd been through. And if it just turned back at that point, I'd have been happy, There was a point where we could take pictures. We took our pictures. There was a cafe. There was some information for tourists, And also, vehicles could get to that spot. So, they know that 90%, if not 99% of people who visit Ben Nevis would never get past that point. So, that's where they placed all the tourist stuff. Restaurants, bars, merch store, etc. So we did a little bit of rest, had some coffee, had some drinks, took some great pictures from that elevation. But the real prize was completing the journey. And we looked up into the rest of the mountain, and it kind of disappeared into a cloud, right? The clouds are relatively low. Actually, the clouds came as far down as where we were as well at some point when the weather turned. But one of us said, you know what? We've come this far. Why do we want to turn back now? Let's give it a go. Let's go. Let's just try. If we can't do it, then we turn back halfway. There were cable cars I could have taken, but they were broken. They weren't working that day. So the cable cars weren't working that day. So we had to go by foot. Man, I looked up the slope. The incline was worse than the one that we just gone through. But I saw some people doing it. And what gave me the courage to do it that day actually was there was an elderly looking lady who was, she had her little walking stick thing. Those hiking sticks, what do you call them? The walking sticks, right? I don't know what the appropriate term is. And she was there with her family, and she was like just placing one step after the other, one step after the other. And surely she was going up. So I said, you know what? If this old woman can do it, so can I. So we all just started going up. It was hard, but eventually we got to the top, the proper top, the actual summit of Ben Nevis. And let me tell you, the reward was amazing, right? The things that we saw up there, the views were just outwardly, right? And I would have been content had I not gone up the last bit there. But having been to the top, I'm glad I did, okay? I'm glad I didn't turn back. And I think we're in kind of the same situation now with our XRP, right? So what's happening now is we've arrived at this place where, we've done our 3x, we've done our 5x. And for a lot of people, actually, this isn't too bad. They've done well, This has outperformed all your, all your 401ks, your S&P 500s, your whatevers, in such a short period of time. And, some people are like, you know what? I might just cut my, take my gains now, cash in, get the heck out. Some people, at the same time, are thinking, man, there's no way we're going another 10x from here. There is just no way. Look up the mountain. It disappears into the clouds, man. It would mean we'll flip Ethereum. It would mean this, it would mean that. But all we have to do is wait a little bit longer because we're almost there. Just a little bit longer. And this is even easier to do, I guess, than my Ben Nevis story because, no frostbite. Well, some people do have financial frostbite, I guess. Financial blood, sweat, and tears. But, man, all you have to do is nothing, man. Not financial advice, of course, do your own research. All you have to do at this point is just not do anything. No swing trading, no leveraging, no jumping around to other tokens. All you have to do is just go away and listen for the noise of when people shout and scream. And then you go collect your money. That's pretty much where we are now. And if you look at the fundamentals are so beautiful. I know it's hard to say this when it's like things are taking a bit of a downturn. Like if you look at what's happening with the charts because of the macros, yeah? It sounds like I'm talking nonsense. In fact, this is kind of feeling that people had just before we had the 5x, not too long ago. People are like, yeah, heard it all before. The Taurus decision didn't move anything. In fact, he pumped and then just dumped immediately. And that sentiment is returning. That feeling of like, that's not going to happen. But that's the best part. That's when things really take off. So even though it's a bit grey out here, it's raining, my fingers are frozen, guess what? Wait, I'm lost as what? I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, sorry. I'm happy because anytime, sooner rather than later, I think, the glory days will arrive. On financial advice, your own research. I'll see you next one. And have a nice Saturday. Peace.